Hey everybody, welcome back to Battle Ready Inc. So just over the past week, we had the Primvitational. This was held by Primitive Kage. You should all know who he is. He is another one of our content creators for the Digimon community and just absolutely blew this event out of the water. Pulled in all of these super known content creators as well as just other supporters in the community, whether they be just like big tournament organizers for like online tournaments like True Champs Gaming, things like that. Just pulled us all together, and then all of us content creators that were known for certain decks that we've just, utilized numerous times and have gone through numerous iterations of the decks and put the decks out to you guys. We played those decks each, and no matter what generation of the game that they were at their height, at their peak, that's the deck we played. Some people played, modern stuff like the winner, which was Grand Kawagamon or Grandest Kawagamon, a very modern deck. Others were playing Rookie Rush from 1.5 and things like that. Yellow War Greymon from BT4. All over the place. Super, super fun event. I wanted just to kind of give my take on how it went, show you the deck that I played and my matchups and kind of just how things went. But overall, I had a blast. I absolutely cannot wait to participate in something like this again, just because it was a ton of fun. Hopefully next time I will have my setup so that way I can actually stream for you guys and join everyone else in the streaming process. Also, I want to give a quick shout out to my wife for another awesome commission. This is for Gamamon, for a local player of ours. Super, super adorable little scarf. He's riding on the Roomba like he does in the anime. Just absolutely wonderful little memory marker. Super, super cute. If you want a commission, all you got to go to is the link in the description below for our Etsy page. And there, just shoot the Etsy creator, or my wife, Digimiyu, a message with what you're wanting made. Generally, babies and under is like 10 to 15. And then rookies are about 20 to 25. Anything over that, and you'll just have to hope and pray, I guess, because they get a little out of hand. I think the one I had made was like $35, but it was also very, very complex. Also, just want to show off this amazing mat here by Draw2 Gaming. Taryn is super cool. I've talked to him a ton, just like over like the past year, getting to know him just like as another creator. So really cool to see that he was the one that made the mat for the tournament, and honestly could not like ask for something better. Naruto being like my all-time favorite anime and like the longest running anime that I've enjoyed, and then combining it with like my most recent love of the Digimon TCG, but also I am an old school Digimon fan, so seeing this was just so perfect. I love this mat so much. Everything is just so fitting. I just like literally could not ask for anything like more perfect. Everyone's selection here is just so ideal. So let's go ahead and jump into this deck profile. So this will be the last time that I will ever play this deck in this variation. It's not really much of a surprise for what it is. It is a yellow-red hybrid security control deck. So we are playing the Gigimon with, of course, the 4 of Gilmon to go with it. Let's turn that around. Just because this is a fantastic draw engine. If you don't need rookies in your deck at all, it just doesn't really need it. And, you're open to whatever color you want, or if you just want to use red options, this is a fantastic engine. It's just such crazy draw power. You're going to get the draw for the Evo, you're going to promote up, and then swing and get 2 more draws. So you're going to get 3 draws off of this 1 rookie here, and a security check. It's such an amazing package. I love this engine so much. I love being able to work it into any sort of deck that I can. Just a ton of fun. So for those that aren't aware, I'm a big security control fan. I played with the Magnas for a long time, and then I got rid of my Magna Angemons when the price shot up, and now I've kind of like, man, I really enjoyed security control. I really want to go back to it again. The yellow purple looks a lot of fun, but I don't have those anymore. So I'm sticking with the yellow hybrid for now, just because we can still do amazing things with it. So of course we got the 4 Kazemon here. along with the 4 Zephyrmon, just your standard hybrid, yellow hybrid package here. It is unfortunate that we did lose the Jet down to 1. That is a big bummer, but we do still have the Shakuamon here. So Shakuamon also giving that recovery on Evo on our level 5 here, so we can still go, hybrid into Shakuamon, still get a recovery. The only drawback, of course, is you can't go immediately. Typically, you could go on top of it with a Mega, and then the Mega would pass turn. A lot of times the Shakuamon here is passing turn. I'm not really a big fan of the Rise Greymon package. It's just not for me. It feels too slow. I gotta play out a rookie that I just evoed on top of. It's like, okay, I'm just replenishing the same sources of Tamers on field. I want to replenish security sources, so being able to get all of our big heavy options, things like that in there. So I'm a big fan of Shakuamon here. Pretty solid. The 4 evo cost is a lot, but honestly, I've really started to come to love the Memory Fixer Kari, just because when you heal, you can suspend her to gain 1 memory back, so it can really mitigate this guy down a whole lot, so I'm a big fan of that. For our Megas, I was running 2 Sakuyamon, sorry, and 2 Seraphimon. So I know this is a big debate here for which ones you should run in these type of decks, whether you're running the Rise Greymon package or what, if you don't want to run Shine. The Sakuyamon was literally in here just to deal with those OTK decks that like to hide in raising area, because I can drop this on field and it forces them to promote up a turn early out of raising, and then they're completely defenseless, and so I can just use any removal option. Great for clearing off like a Grandis or something like that, like a Grand Kawagamon. They're going to go into the pass turn and set up for the following turn, and because of Sakuyamon sitting there, even if they kill the Sakuyamon by like suspending her and swinging over, she's done her job. She forced out that early promote. I can then use an option card to kill that stack, and they have to completely start the whole process over of digging for their pieces and evoing all the way up into another Grand Kawagamon and a Grandis. So Sakuyamon's fantastic for dealing with that matchup. And then the Seraphi is really for when I want to hit the gas, but the alternative was Kazuchimon, and I still think there's some merit to Kazuchi, just being able to heal all the way back up to 3 security if you're lower. The thing I don't like about Kazuchi is that if you're above 3 or higher, you're not going to get any recovery. So a big play I like to do is go into our level 5 recovery, which puts us up to 6 security, and then go to Seraphimon, which puts us up to 7 security. And I can do that like super early game. I'm not like stuck, waiting to recover late game after I've got, the crap smacked out of me. I can be offensive with this deck with the Seraphimon, just go into it, get that 1 free recovery, and then I can swing with that security attack +1. Now the 10,000 DP is kind of low, especially compared to like Kazuchimon, but when you combine it with, jumped the gun there a little bit, but when you combine it with Tamers like Tai and Kari here, it just makes it so much easier. 1 Tai and Kari essentially makes him 12,000, 2, 14, and then at 3 Tai and Karis on field, he's literally pretty much swinging over everything that could ever be in security. So it's really fine. And also going on that early game offensive with Seraphimon, 2 security checks instantly puts my opponent to 3, turning on my Tai and Karis immediately. So I really like this combination here. It's super, super impactful. I've really enjoyed it. But again, like I said, this will probably be the last iteration of this deck. I will be dropping these Megas out come next set. You know what's coming. We've got the new Sakuyamon Maid mode, which essentially is going to replace the Seraphimon. It's going to get us allowed a free option from hand, and then put that option immediately into security, which essentially is a recovery in itself in that way. But, just a fantastic card. And then we're going to have the Venusmon to replace the Sakuyamon, which will give the security attack -1 blanket to the whole field, as well as turning off all those Evo when digivolving effects and when attacking effects. So both these guys getting replaced out for basically just better versions of themselves. So I'm a big fan of it. So, but for our level 7s, we'll go ahead and cover them right quick. I've got the one Susanomon here, and this is just for not decking out. When you go against the mirror match or any other kind of recovery heavy deck, you often will go to time, or you can go to basically deck out whoever decks out first. And so you have to have at least one Susano. In previous formats we're running two Susanos, but the one has been pretty solid so far. There's only been literally one instance so far where I'm like, I wish I had a second Susano just to put more cards back in my deck, but that was like an outrageous game that's like almost normally never a situation. So the Susano is really good, and I'm still a big fan of Death X. I think he's a really powerful card, so I don't mind running two of him just because this is a control deck. We're all about controlling our opponent's board state, and being able to digivolve their whole board and then clear all their level 4s is really powerful. So I really like the Death X for that capability. Also, being able to play it out for super cheap and getting that feels really good. Late game, this guy is just a huge menace, and then your opponent has to put in a lot of work to clear him off field, or he just like eats one of their Digimon every single round. So yeah, I mean, for a control deck, I think he's definitely a must. Going back to our Tamers here. So we've already gone over the Tai and Kari. We've also got Zoe here. I did drop Zoe down to 3 copies this format, simply because with the loss of Jet, we have a lot less yellow hybrids that we can actually grab out of security. So 3 has felt pretty comfortable. I haven't really needed more than 3. It also allows me a nice little peek before I go into my TKs here, so I don't accidentally go in and like, oh, I'm full of red options, or I've got my level 7s in there that I have to take with TK and I don't get my recovery. Zoe just kind of gives me a little heads up of, hey, don't play any TKs, or hey, you're a-okay to play TK, no worries at all. And to go off of that, we've got the Karis, which I already talked about earlier, that I'm a big fan of the Karis, just because it helps mitigate the Shakuamon Evo. It's a memory fixer that I can leave on field that's going to repeatedly get me value, whether it's the Seraphi or the Shakuamons, the Jet Sylphimon, the Zoes, or the TKs. When they pull a card out and they recover back, Kari will benefit there. There's so many cards in this deck that Kari can actually really help with, that I'm actually wish I had bumped her up. I honestly would love to have her at 4, really because the Shakuamon is like the big in-game deciding factor of just that massive 4 Evo cost. Helping offset that with more Karis would be very nice. And then because TK, once he hits the field, he's done his thing. Like, he's a memory fixer, sure, but he doesn't provide any additional use beyond that. Where Kari, as long as I have one Kari on field, that's going to do everything that TK does anyways. So a real big fan of the Karis. I ended up dropping her down a little bit to work in the TK Karis instead, just for that little bit of added memory when we're down a little bit. But the way I play this deck is so offensive, going with those early game swings with the Seraphimon, that my security was just so seldom lower than my opponent's. So didn't get much use out of these guys, unfortunately. So I do wish I had left these as the Karis over there. Following that up, we have our options here. Of course, we have the 4 Sunrise Busters. This card's just an absolute menace. It's like people were calling for it to get hit on the ban list. It is that strong. I mean, literally, it's one of those cards that everyone's going to complain about because it is super strong. Getting to play out a 4-cost Tamer off of this feels really good. And so it's a 4-cost Tamer, and for 1 memory, I'm minusing 3k for everything, for all the Tamers that I have on field to one of my opponent's Digimon. 1 cost to essentially nuke a Death X. It just feels so unbalanced. It gets hit in security, boom, I get to play a Tamer for free from hand, and then I get to nuke something on field. Absolute busted card. But for this format, with the big OTK decks running around, I do really like the Gaia Force. It was pretty solid for this format. Plenty of times I've hard played Gaia Force from hand. It's just a fantastic removal. There are some situations though where it can get dodged, like particularly against Alphamon, with they're having all that protection from the Dora Greymon, but with Dora Greymon, most likely come October will get implemented for English when we get our BT10 release. I'm imagining if Dorgray goes, then Gaia Force just becomes all that more valuable once again. So we'll just kind of have to see if it sticks around in the deck. Unfortunately, it does not combo well with the Maid mode, so that's why there's discussion for dropping it once Maid mode comes out. Following that, we got Fireball, which is a staple with Maid mode, just because it fits in the two-play or not Fireball, sorry, not with that combo, but Fireball here is very strong, just because getting those early game draws is so powerful. Gets a little bit of removal, just when you're short on whatever it is, especially with the Jet Sylphie hit. We're really digging for key important pieces now. That we need to move the deck along a little quicker than we could in previous formats. So Fireball just kind of adding to that a little bit. I do have the 2 Crimson Blazes in here. This card's just treated me so well against so many different decks. If they ever just go put 3 Digimon on field, 3 Digimon, and I can clear multiples, if I can clear 2 of those 3, this card instantly feels super valuable. 3 play cost to delete 2 Digimon on my opponent's side of the field, that's incredible. This card against D-Reaper just absolutely ruins their day so bad. Not for the being able to play stuff out, but just because so much on my turn, so much of their Digimon are in killable range, and they really like to flood the board with like their Jerrys and things like that, that Crimson Blaze just absolutely ruins them. So I really, really like Crimson Blaze. And then, of course, we got the 1 of Reinforced Memory Boost, just because it's a fantastic card. Being able to look at 2, essentially draw 1 and add 1 to my security, but I get to pick between the 2. The only drawback is that my opponent gets to see what they are also. So if I'm like, oh, Gaia Force, put that in security, and I'll add this to my hand. It's like, oh, let me put this Death X in my hand and Gaia Force to security. Then they're like, okay, got to play around both of those. Okay, I'll promote a rookie, swing the rookie, the Gaia Force will kill the rookie, and I won't overextend on my field, so that way I play into Death X. That is a drawback, but it's still an insanely powerful card for the 6 play cost. That it's totally fine. I don't mind that at all. So my matchups were against. I played Grandis, and my security just completely let me down. They had no protection against any of their stuff, and just every time they swung in, it was just a bunch of little things, rookies and level 4s, a couple Tamers. It was just never any of these, all of these removal options in here, and all through all the recovery and everything we did, I always drew the removal option instead of recovering it, and then recovered something trash instead. Every time I did a recovery, I would draw these guys instead of them ending up in security. So it was super unfortunate in that matchup. Grandis just that time around really just walked all over me. It was also probably the best Grandis players ever seen. I think that was Nicky D. He also won the event, so that should also tell you how good of a player he is. I was honestly very blown away. Never seen Grandis played that well, like, ever. So that was really cool. We played against Yellow War Greymon, which unfortunately just an outdated deck, just really struggled. War Greymon's always had that issue of if it swings into security, and if it dies, it just completely ruins that strategy, and that's basically what happened, is we actually popped off of our security options. And then the only other technical loss we had was we went to time in game 1 against the second place deck, which was the yellow-purple security control player, and ended up just giving it to them simply because how it would have turned out is I had a little bit less cards than they did in their deck, and it was just going to come to whoever decks out first. And I did have a little bit less cards in my deck. Maybe I could have pulled off something by like flooding my field and going, but like with time, we literally both of us did our turns, and we just couldn't set up a way to kill each other. Just too much recovery, and went to time in game 1. So I ended up just conceding and letting them take it and have fun with it. The tournament was for fun anyway. I wanted one of these mats, and once everyone got a mat, I was like, okay, cool. I can just have fun with this, and it's not a big deal. I don't have to be a jerk or anything like, nope, we're taking the tie or anything like that. So I was totally cool with letting them have it. They seemed like they really wanted it, and it paid off. They did make it to the finals, so that was super cool as well. But all in all, had a blast. Absolutely loved this whole style of tournament. It was a great break from the kind of monotony that this format has turned into. It's just this format has gone on for a little longer than we're used to, because we're just used to all these tournaments going being a lot or these formats being a lot quicker, simply just because of delays and shortening times and stuff of how long we get to play. So this is the first time we've had a big format in so long. So it was nice to have a nice break from it for a change. So I definitely look forward to doing this again in the future. Absolutely cannot wait to play the next version of this deck and have a total blast with it come the BT10 format. It probably won't be the best in BT10 still, but I'm planning to at least still have fun with it just because I really, really do enjoy this deck a ton. But this will be the last time we see it in this iteration.